from 50% jacked up to 70%, banks are concerned because they feel that, they've already settled their liability for the year 2023 financial year, and they feel they might lose investors because of this one-off tax, one-off tax that has been announced by the federal government. So what do you think? Is their concern justified?
Well, the commercial banks, they have a point, actually. Because don't forget that the windfall tax, though unexpected and they didn't quite work for it, but you could have gone the other way around. If we revalued, then they would have had to lose money. But here we devalued and they gained on the Naira valuation. I'm not arguing that they should have it all by themselves, but I think whichever way it goes, I want government to look at equity, justice, and fairness in how they are going to apply that money. First of all, what is the origin of that money? It originates from the transactions of the private sector with the banks. It also originates from diaspora remittances that are also passing through the IMTU and the banks and such things. When the major customer, which are the private sector, is suffering and they are posting almost 2 trillion naira loss, then you have to consider that they have to be part of that equation. We've now known that central bank is withdrawing domestic finance intervention, which used to give single-digit interest rate to the manufacturing sector. Because the manufacturing sector that actually demands a lot of this money to import goods for their raw materials, and that's by way of letter of credit and all of that stuff. So there should be a way, they must be part of the solution. So you have to allocate something that will help them. I'm not saying you should allocate it to import of anything, no. If you look at the banks themselves, 5% of their pre-tax profit goes to MSME fund, which is good gesture. But over the last few years, the hundreds of thousands of people have actually succeeded in their AgSMIS program to get grant or to get loan. But they haven't been able to fund those loans because they bought a national theater and they voted money to refurbish it. So they were waiting and waiting and waiting for years. This is an opportunity to say, okay, if we are going to take windfall tax, please let some of that money go and replenish the MSME development fund, which the banks are already engaged in funding. So that is one way in which you can bring a little succor to the MSME community that are suffering from all the economic situation. And then, of course, you can say, okay, some part of it can go to infrastructure, but which infrastructure? The critical infrastructure for the manufacturer sector is energy. 77% of the community says that energy is the critical factor for them. So we should be pushing that money into energy and not push it anywhere, anything called infrastructure, so that it helps also build the resilience in the same sector that is generating the fund. So some of those, and also be mindful of the fact that we need to consult with the banks. I wasn't happy when the House were saying that, since the bank didn't come attend the hearing, and then it's presumed that they have accepted to it. If they don't come, Mohammed doesn't go to the mountain can go to Mohammed. It's good you don't punish success. You just encourage it and then let them have a buy-in. After all, they have, since 2005, brought in investment of over $200 billion into our economy. But it's not to say that the government hasn't helped them. We have helped them during the era of Sanusi, when we had a whirlwind from 2005 or 2008 from American property crisis. Our bank suffered. So AMCOM was created, 6 trillion, went to AMCOM, and we even got back up to 1.5 trillion. So there are symbiotic relationships, good things here, good things there. We need to maintain that. Don't forget, this sector generates 23% GDP growth rate in our economy, even though their contribution to GDP is only about 5.5%. But they are a major source of revenue and growth in our economy. So we need to be active in nurturing that relationship and explaining why government wants to do that. It will be offensive to simply carry that money and go and use it to pay minimum wage for federal workers. That's not what it should be going for. It should be going to make sure you build resilience in the source of that money and then make sure there's equity and fairness in how it's going to be distributed.
Professor Ken, thank you very much for your contribution. And I think that Dr. Iwundu had alluded to that earlier, that such money should go into infrastructure as a way of giving back to those sectors that lost money while the banks gained them. But the two guests in the studio are itching to respond. So let's give Honorable Dabo a breather while he's still sorting out his notes. Let's get the response, the immediate response of Dr. Kennedy Iwundu.
Okay, what he said is exactly what I was saying. To take that money and pay minimum wage, as he said, may not be fair to the manufacturing sector. So, because they are the ones that...
Is that what the federal government is saying?
No, we are just anticipating.
Okay.
We are just saying it. Yes, because...
There are statements already.
Exactly. So, because
sometimes
the implementation may not be what we had in mind. Yes, we are just, trying to say that. Because what we are saying is that the manufacturing sector suffered a lot. Most of the manufacturing sector import their inputs. And they need forex to import this input. That's why they made so many losses. I know that in tax law, if you make losses, foreign exchange losses, you also account for it. You also get deprived with the tax law. If you make losses, you also have to account for it in terms of your tax, especially if it is realized exchange loss, of course. As he said, the money should go into the energy sector that will improve production. The money should go into, if they have loans, soft loan for the manufacturing industry, where they will be giving single-digit interest rate loan, the money should go there.
What about entrepreneurs?
That's what I'm saying. Okay. That's where the money should go. They should find a way to encourage local production. I keep saying local production because anything you can do to encourage local production and boost local industry will stabilize the country. Because at the end of the government will collect taxes from industrialization in Nigeria. There will be increase in goods and services, and it also stabilize the, reduce the inflation rate. One of the things that causes inflation is that the goods are few, and so many people are chasing these goods. So when you have mass production of goods and services, food items and all that, it goes a long way to stabilize the country.
Okay, Honorable Dabo, do you have a contrary view to what Professor Kenny said?
Yeah, actually, we're out there for the people and for the Nigerian people. What government is saying, you are making profit, all the financial institutions. Aside from this, you have been declaring profits in billions of naira. When you look at their books, both the private sector, for example, I was opportune to have one-on-one with the MD of Dangote Cement. And we asked him, why are you increasing the price of cement while you are making a profit? That the cost of production and so many other things has gone up. He talked about, they were emphasizing on these effects. And I had an critical analysis for both Dangote, Bua, and one African cement company. And in my analysis, we realized that, and I will say it here, that what they are saying about FX is actually not the true reflection of price increment in Nigeria. It is control. In the first quarter of 2024, they declared 166 billion naira profit. First quarter of 2024. And in last quarter, 2023, they declared profit of 532 thereabout billion as profit. And you kept on increasing the price of this product. Nigerians are suffering. And after our calculation, why the profit, I told the MD, yes, you want to make profit for your company, for your employer, then you also have to look at Nigerians. You can increase your profit by improving your production and reaching out distribution. You can improve your profit on that. You cannot sit down and have a plan on increase on shareholders' capital or growth in your shares by increasing prices of this product as against the interest of common man in Nigeria. So after our calculations, we have seen, even if today they sell cement at 4,000 naira, they will make almost 100 billion naira difference in profit. So all these institutions, the private sector that you're talking about, we have checked their books. They are making profit. They are not making losses in Nigeria. As against what they are saying, what they are telling the public. And we're charging government agencies responsible for checking all these things to go after them. Check their books, tell Nigerians what they are doing, and they cannot continue increasing prices of items, commodities, products in Nigeria, especially the expatriates. Yes, they have to do their business. Then come to issue of taking part of this revenue to fund, either to clear, to support the financial institutions. It has never been done anywhere in the world. We have the analysis. If you look at Czech Republic, what are they doing with their windfall tax? What are they doing with it? They are developing critical infrastructure. They put it into critical infrastructure development. While commercial banks, financial institutions are also gain part of the unexpected profit. Then if you look at Lithuania is a country, what they do with their windfall tax is to fund the military. Is to fund the military. You come down to UK, what UK is doing is not to everybody, is to support the small businesses to perform better and to create more jobs for their citizens. So come down to Nigeria. Our case is so peculiar from all these nations. You know our problems today. Yeah. And what is happening now in the country. And the government is trying to say, okay, this time around we are not taxing the citizens. Meanwhile, we have this window. Nigerians should also rest with all these taxes of this, of that, of this. Now, with this window, we can have a serious inflow for the government to develop our health sector. When you don't have hospitals working in Nigeria, you are expecting government to take this money again back to financial institutions to clear their debts, to support them to do better, so that they will make more profit on top of Nigerians. We are saying no to that. We at the parliament. When you look at our roads today, our roads are so terrible, so bad, that we need funds to fix them. If you look at our educational sector, look at what is happening in education. The universities are always going on strike. They need better infrastructure. They need better things to work with. We have to put all those monies into those sectors to develop our own system while they make their profit. It is a business. It's an entity. When they declare profit, they don't declare it to Nigerians. And we will not take that at the parliament. And when you look at the Amendment Act, the Finance Act that has been amended by us, both Senate and the House of Representatives, we said it should start from 2023 because the money is there. They have made this money in billions of naira. Go and check. And they have to remit it.
But they say they've settled their liability for 2023.
Settling liability while you have profit that you have not declared, you have still not settled your liability. You cannot settle liability with undeclared profit. So all those profits will also ask the Finance Committee in the National Assembly to interact more with Finance and the FIRS to check all those financial institutions to ensure compliance, that they have done the needful.